go through things or even routes on air. He grows every single day.
Press Taylor on Brian Thomas Jr. It's 89 degrees at 2 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Attention.
They are not ready for prime time.
Prime time, that's the name.
Prime time.
What time is it? Showtime, prime time.
It's XL Prime Time, featuring Joe C.
And then he couldn't fire his glutes later.
Matt Hayes.
I'm not running over the Barnett Tower and heaving myself off.
And Leon Searcy.
Now, you come across that middle, you have some meat on your bone.
And we saw a few of those guys today. A little meat on the bone for those biggins out there at Jaguars OTA. Welcome in. XL Primetime, ready to crank it out. A Beaver Chevy Beaver Toyota Tuesday. That's right. It's already Tuesday with the short work week, and hopefully you had a long and relaxing Memorial Day weekend. And as I tweeted out yesterday, don't put your head on the bed without remembering the military and their sacrifice, that's for sure. So we continue to salute those that protect and guarantee our freedom every single day. All right, so we're ready to rock and roll. I'm looking across. Now, Matt Hayes is missing in action today because he's in Destin with the SEC spring meetings, and they're already firing up the what's the best way to put this? Hey, we want to play you, and you're not on our schedule. So the off-season chatter, Leon, which I know you know well, Mike Elko's already calling out the Texas Longhorns, saying they need to be on our schedule. So we'll get into that. But how many pounds did you sweat off today compared to when you were in uniform?
Well, you know what?
Out practicing.
You know, I didn't sweat as much because I've dropped some LBs, bro.
Yes, you have.
I've dropped some because you know days of long gone past. Mm-hmm. I sat out there. I used to sweat, and my knees used to hurt, and my back ache, and everything like that. I felt pretty good, bro. You lose like 35, 40 pounds, man. You feel it.
I'm looking at Coach Campo, and I'm telling you, Leon was up and down the sidelines today. Oh. And he didn't have the towel.
I didn't have the towel, bro.
No, he was beautiful today.
That's called progress. Absolutely. It's called progress, Coach.
So Coach is in with us, hanging out. We've just finished our Campo and Joe podcast. You can obviously find that in any of our social channels. We'll be kicking it out later. If you missed it on Facebook Live, you probably can go back and find it on Facebook as well. But we're going to just kind of go around and talk a little bit about what we saw today, because it's going to be a once-a-week treat, basically, for us to be able to see the OTAs. But just start the conversation from a head coach point of view. You get out there, you start seeing what the 24 Jaguars are looking like.
Well, I think the first thing that stuck out, I think Leon would echo this, they look like a bigger, faster football team. And that's kind of what they've talked about from day one here since the draft or prior to the draft. That's the thing that stuck out to me more than anything else. I think the most fun I had today, and it's interesting because I did watch the DBs, and you know, without any helmet, with no helmets and no pads, they're all running around, pretty athletic, this and that. But the front were hitting the sled today. Mm-hmm. And I watched the defense more than the offense, so that's great because Leon can comment on what he saw. But we have some power in the defensive line this year. Mm-hmm. When you look at the Jefferson kid and you look at Hamilton, if he's 100%, because he was 100% today, in my opinion, you had Mason Smith athletically with his size, who's only going to get bigger and stronger.
And healthier.
And then you got Armstead sitting out there. We're going to have a better rotation in the defensive line than we had a year ago. And I think that not only bodes well against the run, but it also bodes well on keeping guys fresh in the fourth quarter, rushing the passer and doing some of those kind of things.
Yeah, Coach. Just one thing stood out I was noticing as well is we got wide bodies now. You know, and those wide bodies are going to rotate. And Coach was watching them on the back. He was watching them on the sled. And first thing Coach emphasized when he came over to me, he said, Leon, those guys are explosive coming off that ball. Mm-hmm. And that's what you want. You want youth. Listen, I always say that the lifeline Jaguars, right? The guys who get comfortable here for a long period of time, those days are over. You got some youth in here now. Some youth in here now that's going to push those guys. They're going to either have to sit at the table or they're going to find somewhere else to eat.
It's like I said to you when I was walking around, Javon Foster immediately popped for me because he carries size with him. He's a big guy that was drafted in the 4th round, played a bunch of tackle. We had his head coach, Eli Drinkwitz, on with us, and he had, 50-some starts up at Mizzou.
Yeah.
But he looks like he could go inside or outside, Leon.
Yeah, you know, the most noticeable thing out there today when I was watching the offensive line, the real skill position. No offense, coach. The real skill position. I was watching Mitch Morse mentor him.
Okay.
I was watching that, and I mean, he's a veteran guy. He's been in the league for a while, and they were doing the drill where they were doing the push and climb drill. I can't. It's where an offensive lineman comes off on the ball, hits the bag, and then he climbs to the next level and gets to the linebacker. They were doing that kind of stuff, and Mitch Morris was holding the bag, and he was kind of instructed on, hey, your feet, your hands, your explosion, all that kind of stuff. See, I like to see that kind of stuff. You know, a veteran guy who sees something in a young guy is willing to tutorial him, to teach him.
And you got to have that. You got to have that right now to build a team. All right, so if you guys have any questions, second round, we've had a rookie minicamp, which you got to see a little bit of, Coach. We've had OTAs the first couple of weeks now. Of course, they'll go through the rest of the week with the OTAs this week. But if you guys got anything you want, Jaguar-related, and if you're just tuning in, you can go to the stream. You can join us on YouTube. Just search 1010XL. You can throw something up on the chat line there. If you're listening online or in your car, whatever it might be, you can also hit the text line 641-1010, designed by Lifetime Enclosures, and let us know what you're thinking. Because we spend most of our time on the Jaguars today. The Boston Celtics just ripped through Indiana and made it look easy. Okay, we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on the association today.
Well, both games towards the end were like Groundhog's Day. I mean, the turnovers by Indianapolis, the inability to get rebounds, to defend. I mean, and then the Boston Celtics down the stretch in both games made the big buckets when it counted.
Yeah, they did.
I mean, the guys came through. I mean, listen, anytime in Game 3 where Al Horford makes 7 threes in the game, come on, bro. come on.
And Derek White has become Mr. Automatic, Mr.
Defender.
Reliable.
Especially from the corner.
Oh, my
that guy
God.
he can stick them now.
He's made some money now. Really, the last 2 or 3 postseasons, he's made some money for himself. And then, obviously, Jason Tatum did what he did and got it going. So, this ticks me off just a little bit because you were hoping for a good matchup between these two, and the Halliburton injury definitely hurt Indiana. There's no question about that. And RJ, he of Open Gym Sunday mornings, dude, they showed the stat coming out of these games where 3 of 4 they had a plus 90% chance to win the game in the fourth quarter and figured out a way to blow it.
You had really, if you look at this series, Indiana could have stole 3 games from this Boston Celtics team. Yeah. You had that game 1, and if you just make an inbound pass, you would have walked out of Boston stealing game 1. You're up 18 in game 3 after Jason Tatum's talking about how much he loves game 3s with, teams with their home fans are there to see him. If we do what we do, we'll walk out of here with a victory. You were down 18 and had to come back in order to do so. And if you finish the game in game 4, I mean, that's 3 games. We could be looking at a 7-game series or Indiana pulling out the upsets of upsets. But the Boston Celtics, I think they understand what's in front of them in terms of if they were to have lost this series, just the talk would have gone around that Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown as a tandem can't continue. So very fortunate on the Boston Celtics part to be punching their ticket to the NBA Finals, and most importantly, getting that big lug Kristaps Porzingis a few more days of rest before he returns to the lineup.
Yeah, he's trying to come back from that calf strain, and gosh, it's taken him a little bit of time now. It's been right at a month, but you're talking 2 NBA Finals in 3 years. We know that Jaylen Brown and them got second-guessed to death last year when they were eliminated by the Miami Heat, and then they go in the offseason and get these super contracts, these mega contracts. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown adding up to about $600 million between the two of them, which is just crazy. But I used to call the Jacksonville Jaguars the Jacksonville ifs. It's kind of the Indiana ifs, because Indiana, if they had done this against New York, if they had done this against Boston, that's how their postseason ended. That's what they will. That's what they are, at least to me, for right now.
Well, listen, good teams find a way, and bad teams find a way as well.
Yeah, they won games at the end of the deal. I only watched the last 5 minutes of the game last night, and Nembhard looked like he was playing for the Celtics. I mean,
former Gator. Former Gonzaga Bulldog. The other thing that just kind of gets me just a little bit, because the NBA was looking forward to a chance to maybe have a Knicks-Celtics Eastern Conference Finals. We know that did not happen. Indiana got there. Then the Halliburton injury. And the bottom line is Boston has 10 days between the last Eastern Conference Final game and the first NBA Finals game. That sucks. It really does. And Dallas is probably going to take care of business, but just the way the NBA works, it's scheduled. They will not start until next Thursday.
How healthy is Boston? They're pretty healthy, right?
For the most
because
part.
I don't know.
Porzingis.
It's kind of like it's kind of like in the NFL when teams that are on a roll or on a streak, and they want to keep playing.
True.
When they're given time off, but I don't know. I don't know what the health condition is with the team.
Biggest one is getting Kristaps back.
Yeah, okay. So you get more time to get him back.
Yeah, and so that's really it. Because right now things are working for them, but that interior presence, that big 7+ footer, is key. Especially when you take a look at what Luka and Kyrie have been able to do in Dallas. It's been so much fun to watch, and I don't know whether the T-Wolves are going to be able to battle back and make this interesting or not, but it does look like Boston is going to have the full benefit of giving Kristaps all the time he needs to come back and see what they do. All right, hope you guys came back from work fully recharged, 3-day weekend. Beach, buds, and barbecue. That's my Memorial Day theme, Coach. I always make sure that have a little fun, good barbecue with the family, go to the beach, everything like that. Did you have a good time?
Oh, yeah. Hamburgers and hot dogs.
Yeah. He said he was going to keep it simple. He was going to keep it simple. Big
I went with leg quarters and some ribs, bro.
He's a serious guy.
All protein, bro.
Just the way he said it with some ribs. That's old school right there.
Yeah,
that's auntie talk right there.
Well, listen, I didn't do any cooking. I just crashed somebody as a barbecue. All my cigar buddies that I smoke with, someone was liable to cook. So I found one. And all you got to do is listen to the whispers. Because guys during Memorial Day, they start to bragging about what they're going to cook and all the other kind of stuff. And next thing you know, I'm just knocking on this door. Hey, bro, I need to get a plate.
Well, yeah, and listen, I'm all about it, and I didn't do anything extravagant or extraordinary or anything like that. We just made sure we had good barbecue chicken, good dogs, good burgers. Kind of followed that theme, Coach. TLD, all her sides, she crushes it. There's no doubt about it. Potato salad, barbecue beans, all that kind of stuff.
Coleslaw, baked beans, that's it, baby.
And the barbecue beans in the og, you got a daddle pepper that you got to toss in there, just to make it a little sweet and spicy. Let them cook down.
I'm going to tell you something else they had on NFL Network, Coach. I was going to text you, and it was unfortunate that I had to watch it. It was the championship game. They played both championship games on NFL Network where we lost to the Chargers and y'all lost to the Niners.
Yeah.
And it bugged
You're going back to the Niners.
Yeah, we're talking about the Niners. It was back-to-back because we was an early game. And y'all were the late game when y'all lost to the 49ers. We lost to the Chargers in the championship game. I said, ain't this something?
I watched it.
Did you watch it, Coach?
I did.
Oh, wow.
What year are we talking about?
This was the 1995.
95
AFC and NFC championship game.
Okay.
We lost to the Chargers 17-13, and the Cowboys lost to the 49ers.
Yeah, that's the Deion Sanders arm bar and Michael Irvin.
I saw that.
We'd have won that game, too.
It was an arm bar, by the way.
Yeah.
I know he was my teammate, but that was an arm bar.
Yeah,
that was a penalty.
and no flag.
No flag.
Yeah,
no, absolutely
no flag to be
not.
found anywhere.
Yeah.
Look, if you go back in time and you start thinking about the classic tilts, and I'm sure there are other eras that you could say, like Pittsburgh and Baltimore as an example, have played some great games. But the Cowboys and 49ers, for my money, is there a better when the stakes are high type of matchup?
Well, when you talk about the mid to late 90s, the road or the path to the Super Bowl either went through Dallas or it went through Candlestick.
Yeah,
at those particular times. Now, early on, the Commanders back in the day, in the early 90s, but when Coach Johnson with the Cowboys that was the only time the 49ers could ever beat the Cowboys, and that was Barry Switzer's year when Jimmy left.
Yeah,
it was a de facto Super Bowl, is what it was, because there was a run in. I'm thinking mid 80s to mid 90s, if I have it right, maybe early 80s to mid 90s. 11 straight NFC teams winning the Super Bowl.
Well, Green Bay was involved in that too, as far as the NFC.
Yeah.
It was Green Bay, San Francisco, and the Cowboys.
Yeah.
That was the NFC.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, it was Pittsburgh, Buffalo.
But I'll go back and look because I bet it was the Giants, Washington, and then the teams you just mentioned.
Right.
From the early to mid 80s until that streak was broken in 97 with Denver over Green Bay.
Yep.
And that was a hell of a run. And that's why you kind of felt like the Super Bowl was played championship Saturday.
You got to remember the notion was that when the NFC went on that streak of all those guys winning the Super Bowls, that the AFC was soft.
Yes.
That was the notion.
The passing group.
Yeah, we were.
That's right.
It was the AFC was considered, because they were passing, we were finesse.
Yeah.
I mean, anytime you go 11 straight seasons and win the Super Bowl and you're in the NFC, that's the mindset is that the NFC is tougher.
Yeah.
And they were particularly at that particular time.
All right, let's bring up one thing off the field that definitely was the talk. By the way, real quick before I even mention this, just the one thing that happens with OTAs or anything like that is it's a little bit of a mini media convention because all the members of the media are going to be there. This is our one time to watch, consume, get interviews, whatever it might be, with the Jaguars. So you have all the different Jacksonville media along with some from outside here. And the talk of David Lamb was up and down the sidelines. And it really was a treat. And just certain things like Gene Fournette coming up and asking, all right, remind me, when did you guys do the morning show together? And I said, we did it for 10 years. Lamb and I were on from 99 to 2009 before we got canned over at Clear Channel. And we had a lot of good storytelling up and down the sidelines. And then Kevin Talley from Channel 4, who was on the morning show before you with Dave? Because I can't remember. And so there were just so many good comments about the life that Lamb lived. And I've been reliving that, pretty much the entire weekend and enjoy some of the great stories and recollections.
Well, Hacker's sentiment kind of, when he said that Lamb passing away sucks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
I mean, you can't be any more straightforward than that.
Yeah. And look, like we said, there's so many things you can look back on and you can laugh. You really can. I have so many memories that just make me smile. And he did a lot of good for Jacksonville that people in today's world may not fully realize it. But he was an advocate for this city. And you can go back in time when the paper and the columnists meant something. They wielded a big pen, a big, powerful position in the sports media world. Pre-sports talk, they were very powerful, and he loved and supported and pushed for this city.
I knew him, just through association. And, I always heard really good things about him as far as being consistent. He kind of told it like it was, but he was consistent, and he was a good person. After the show last week, I listened to Frank Frangie, the Frangie show, and he literally went almost 2 segments talking about him. Yeah. And to me, that's what do you talk about a tribute to that the guy, what he did for this community and for 1010XL and for sports radio in general is just unbelievable.
I wonder if we can get the footage because I listen, in '96 when I came to Jacksonville, I wonder if Lamb said they overpaid to get me here.
Oh,
I'm sure he did.
I pretty much could count on that. And I joined him in '99, but I'm pretty sure he did say that.
And that's all right. I know I got overpaid to come here. Somebody, ain't no mistake about it.
I can see his face right now. He'll go, "How much?" And then a pause. A right tackle?
Exactly.
I can hear him saying it right now. All right, so 641-1010. We'll get back on the Jags. Take a look at some of these position battles. Gabe Davis is not right now working with the team, but he is out there, which is good news. One of the bigger free agents. So we will get to him, thoughts that Doug Peterson had on him. And then also the Brandon McManus story. This is a strange story. We'll at least get a comment from Doug Peterson on that front. But lawsuits do not take holidays. So the news broke yesterday, and a bit of a PR nightmare for the Jaguars logo. to have to answer to that when I don't know whether they had anything to do with it or how big it is. But anyway, we'll get into that coming up in just a second. Beaver Toyota, Beaver Chevy, they bring you today's show, and they are there to wow you, and they got new digs coming with Beaver Toyota, building their brand new dealership, but they got great deals right now, so make sure you stop on by and see the selection. You're talking beautiful sedans, SUVs, pickup trucks, economy cars, pre-owned, new, whatever you're looking for, and the same goes right there on the lot at Beaver Chevrolet on Phillips Highway. Shop online, beaverchevrolet.com, or beavertoyotastaugustine.com, and then head to the lot and drive away in a brand new one. It is XL Primetime.
XL Primetime's Coach Dave Campo is brought to you by Bold City Heating and Air. Online at boldcityac.com. The First Coast Honda Dealer Studios on 1010XL. They sacrifice so much.
Hey, I never finished college, and look how I turned out. What's up?
To bring you so little.
Oh, easy. What's with the personal attacks?
And they do it every day. Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser are The Drill. Mornings on 1010XL.
Mia here. The NBA playoffs are heating up, and it's the perfect time to elevate your game with MyBookie. With MyBookie, you can bet from anywhere, anytime, so you never miss a shot to cash in on a play. You can even live stream and bet on the games right from the sportsbook, giving you everything you'll need to decide, cash out or let it ride. MyBookie really makes it easy to get paid with tons of boosted props and slam dunk parlays. And new boosts are now posted on the daily. It's more than just a sportsbook. Buzzer beaters, underdog upsets, and a community to share in all of the sweats. Give yourself a head start today and play with house money using promo code 1010XL when you make your first deposit. That's promo code 1010XL to claim a limited time bonus when you sign up and make your first deposit. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only with MyBookie.
Hey Jaguar fans, I'm Donovan Darris, former 10-year NFL strong safety for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I know you're excited about this upcoming season. Well, I'm excited about the tackling technique camps we're hosting for youth ages 7 through 14 throughout Jacksonville. These camps will help the kids develop in all the necessary skills and development and drills they need to be successful. Just like teammates, I need your help. I'm asking for you to consider to sponsor one child for $50. This cost will go towards a child who would not be able to attend otherwise. To do so, just go to my website, DariusNextLevelTraining.com.
Smooth sailing and a smooth taste of Vida de Luis, an all-natural tequila made with volcanic spring water and aerated to provide a smoother finish. Go to VidaDeLuis.com and set a course for smooth living today.
Divorce, menonly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to divorcemenonly.com. Divorcemenonly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
There's a name you can trust when it comes to servicing your AC system. Bold City Heating and Air, a family-owned Jacksonville company focused only on the local community. And since the extreme summer temperatures are almost here, schedule your summer maintenance today with Bold City Heating and Air. Don't be fooled by the out-of-towners, equity firms, and national corporations that use local names. Trust the AC company born in the Bold City. That's boldcityac.com.
Every team has an enforcer.
Whether you like it or not, I'm a hard hitter and I'm a straight shooter.
Tommy Mack is ours.
I say it like I see it.
Fridays on Jaguars Today, brought to you by Renewal by Anderson Windows and Doors on 1010XL.
Did you know a metal roof from Prime Roofing has the highest wind and impact ratings available? If you want a stronger roof, think metal. Think Prime Roofing. Learn more at primeroofingfl.com. That's primeroofingfl.com.
All right, get those boats ready. The Dailies Old School Kingfish Shootout presented by Yellowfin is coming soon to St. Augustine. It's June 8th. Just go to oldschoolkingfish.com. You can find out more. The grand prize is a Yellowfin bay boat. And with limited boundaries, no bait buying, and no checkout, it is seriously old school. That's why it's the Old School Kingfish Shootout. Here's how you do it. You go online, you sign up, and you become part of what is going to a terrific event. It's the Old School Kingfish Shootout. Go to oldschoolkingfish.com.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. You've heard me praising the quick and easy process of Awaken 180 weight loss. Now I'm going to explain the benefits. It begins with fitting into clothes you haven't worn in years, or better yet, buying new clothes because those you have simply don't fit anymore, or tightening your belt and realizing you're out of holes, or running on the treadmill or on the beach, or lifting weights just like you once did, or, and here's the key, your health drastically changes. Who doesn't want that? The transformation from old you to new you is the finish line, and Awaken 180 weight loss gets you there faster, safer, and easier than any other weight loss program. You're healthy, you're happy, you've made a paradigm life shift. If I can do it, if Mike Dempsey can do it, and Hacker can do it, if more than 21,000 others can do it, you can too. Get your plan, get your personal coach, and get your results by doing what we all did. Choose the solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 weight loss. Call 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800, or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
I have done in my career literally thousands of joint replacements.
Meet Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, National Medical Director at QC Kinetics, an acclaimed orthopedic surgeon who now advises patients try all they can do to avoid the knife and consider regenerative medicine.
I myself was able to continue skiing for 10 years after my knees started to be a problem because I accessed regenerative medicine.
Now, after 20 years of study, research, teaching, publications, and clinical experience, Dr. Scheinkup is regarded as one of America's true pioneers.
This is the future of medicine.
Dr. Scheinkup came to QC Kinetics after seeing what they were doing around the country, helping tens of thousands of patients get lasting relief from joint pain with no surgery and no drugs.
QC is so far ahead of the game in its science, its protocols, its people, its facilities.
Call now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522. That's 904-274-5522. 904-274-5522.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. The Weekend Rewind, brought to you by Cycles of Jacksonville, the big boy toy store for big boy toys.
Is this what you want? The NBA remembers an NBA champion and Hall of Famer.
The NBA family mourns the passing of Hall of Famer Bill Walton. Bill was the #1 overall pick in the 1974 NBA draft following a legendary career at UCLA. He led Portland to the 1977 NBA championship and was named league MVP in 1978.
Matt Vierling walks it off for the Tigers with 409-foot moonshot.
The 3-2. Fly ball to left. Wow. Oh, man. Matt Vierling walks it off with a 3-run bomb.
The Boston Celtics punched their ticket to the NBA Finals thanks to a go-ahead 3 from Derek White.
Brown on the drive, pulls back, lost the ball, got it back, kicks it out, White, corner 3, bang! Derek White from downtown, Celtics by 3.
It would be an incredible finish during the Indy 500.
Newgarden's like I've been in this situation before. Joseph Newgarden around the outside of Penrod. This is mind-blowing. Joseph Newgarden is a 2-time Indy 500 winner. Oh my goodness.
The Dallas Mavericks take a commanding 3-0 lead over the Wolves with a nasty alley-oop.
6-point game. Doncic with 33. The Gafford screen against Gobert, tailed by McDaniels. Gafford! Up high, down hard, and a foul! Dagger!
Yeah, Dagger's right. 100%. Some great stuff from the weekend. The Weekend Rewind brought to you by Cycles of Jacksonville. They are right there on Atlantic near Regency, and they are stoked. I'm stoked. Excited to tell you that they're in the boat business with Honda. They've got already their beautiful pontoon boats, and now Honda has powered up the boats to where you can get out on the water, and you need to see them. Go by Cycles of Jacksonville on Atlantic near Regency. You saw some of the fireworks over the weekend. You're seeing Luka and Kyrie right now, Leon.
Yeah.
Look like ooh.
Yeah, they're looking special. They're looking like that backcourt is special. It's unique. They can score points at any time. I'm watching the game and I'm watching the series, and I was going for the Timberwolves. I was going for the Ant-Man, whatever. But the Minnesota Timberwolves are doing a lot of chattering over the weekend and stuff like that. It kind of reminded me when I was a little kid when my grandma used to tell me to go get a switch. It looked like that's what the Mavericks are doing to the Timber Wolves. Thank you, Grandma. You're mouthing off a little bit too much. Go and give me that switch. I'm going to go ahead and use it on you.
Let me straighten this thing out.
Exactly. Let me straighten you out. And I think that's what the Magic have been doing these last couple of games. They've been straightening them out, letting them know that, listen, y'all may be the talk of the town, but we're still here.
And it is a results-based business in professional sports. And when it's go time, and it wasn't like Minnesota didn't have a lot of momentum coming out of knocking off the defending world champions, and they had a chance to make a big statement, and they have not been able to. Unfortunately, Anthony Edwards, he looks like he's in an ant pile right now. He can't get to the free throw line. He's not drawing enough contact. He said, I got Kyrie, and he doesn't. And so, it's definitely backfired on him, that's for sure. Coming through the college baseball conference championships, we'll touch on the teams that made it into the NCAA regionals, but definitely a lot of southern flavor from Gainesville to Tallahassee, all the other ones that are going to be part of the college baseball regionals, and then hopefully on to the super regionals for some of those squads that you guys keep an eye on. All right, so let's get back to what's going on with your Jags and your first shot of looking at this team as a whole. And we didn't see everybody. The Gabe Davis storyline, like we said, they're taking it very slow with him. ETN, I did not see out there doing a whole lot. Cam Robinson, I did not see him. He had an excused absence, if I remember right.
Newborn.
Yeah, yes.
Newborn baby. Yeah, that's why he wasn't out there.
Okay.
And I saw Eric Armstead on the sideline when I got there. I mean, I don't know what that was about. But I think he was in on the drills and stuff like that.
He only did a little work.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
My associations, like I said on the podcast with Eric Armstead, was I walked by him, and he looked like a 50-year-old Shaquille O'Neal.
He's a big man.
He is huge.
Boy, is he big.
He is
Holy mackerel. But, he's an older-looking guy in comparison to those youngins. But I'll tell you what, he's going to be a difference.
It's so funny.
No question.
You say Shaq, and there was a number of tributes, including the one that RJ pulled with Bill Walton. Bill Walton passes at the age of 71. He was Mr. Everything. He was supposed to be a lot like Lou Alcindor coming out of college, coming out of UCLA, and be that great guy. Anyway, it was such a different career. It wasn't exactly what you expected. But they show Bill Walton with Shaquille O'Neal, and you want to talk about a babyface Shaq back with the Dream Team and all that?
Right.
It was crazy to look and see how young Shaq was back then.
Yeah, but here's the one thing I can appreciate about Bill Walton. He the beat to his own drum.
Oh my gosh, yes.
It was.
He was his own maestro.
His uniqueness of not caring what others thought about him was refreshing. Yeah, sort of say.
And an intelligent human being that thought about a lot of things that maybe others didn't think about. He presented it in such a cool and weird way at times.
The interesting thing that I know about Bill Walton is when the Pac-12 kind of dissolved, that was his baby.
Yeah.
He loved the Pac-12. And this is just 2 weeks or 3 weeks, whatever it was, when everybody was talking about, the league folding, basically. He came out, this is 3 weeks before he passed away, and came out how disappointed he was in that the league was dissolving and going from there.
Yeah, but a life well lived, like we said. Beat of a different drum, his own maestro, that's for sure. All right, let's get back to the Jags. Couple questions off the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures that we want to get to. I'll just throw out the idea that this is a new-looking football team. There are a lot of familiar faces, but there's a lot of new faces that are out there. If you think about the free agent class that has come in, you're expecting starters' contributions from a significant number of guys. We've already mentioned Eric Armstead. You mentioned Mitch Morse. There's no question this guy is going to be asked to step in, instantly take over a key starter's role at the center position. You start looking at the Darnell Savages of the world, the Ronald Darbys. They have brought in a lot of guys that are expected, like Leon in 96, instantly being plug and play at a starter's role.
Yeah, they got to be impactful. I mean, the guys that you got in free agency and the guys that you got in the first couple of rounds, they've got to be, if they're not day one starters, they've got to be major contributors to the team at least 80 to 90% of the games.
Right.
You know, whoever it may be.
One of the guys that stuck out to me today was Trey Flowers.
Mm-hmm.
Trey looked like a guy that's been in the league for whatever number of years.
And he was signed, what was it, a couple of weeks ago, right? Coming out of rookie minicamp.
Yeah.
And he's a guy, look, all those guys have a chance. We don't know. You mentioned the number on the podcast. There were a total of 5 different guys that were lining up in the nickel.
Yeah. I mean, this is what they're doing. I mean, they're trying to piece guys into where they're going to have an opportunity to play, whether it's a couple of different positions.
Right.
Jurian Jones, a new draft pick, was out at wide, wide corner and in at nickel. So they've got some guys that are kind of interchangeable, which I think in the long run helps a football team because, you never know when somebody's going to go down or something's going to happen. If you've got some guys that can kind of interchange positions, that's a big deal. And when you look at Trey Flowers or Darby or, those guys have got skins on the wall.
Yeah.
So, maybe you got 2 or 3 of those guys on your ball club all put together as one. You're always worried about Darby getting hurt and this, that, and the other thing. Maybe the combination of Darby and Trey Flowers or whoever makes a team makes up for that.
Now, Coach, when we was over there watching them in team, whatever, when they had their base front, you had mentioned to me on the sideline that base front looked more like an underfront.
It is an underfront.
Oh, it is an underfront. Because we were talking about, we saw Muma out there, we saw Lloyd out there, we saw Fourier out there, and then they had a stand-up guy, and they ran, and their base front was like a overfront.
If you take a 3-4, okay, on the open side, away from the tight end, and you kick that end and outside linebacker down inside, it's an underfront. In other words, you've covered everybody up on the weak side of the formation. On the other side, it's a slide front. In other words, the nose is a 1 technique to the strong side. And then you got a 5 technique, which is outside the tackle. That's the big tackle.
Right.
And then you got a stand-up outside linebacker. Everybody was asking, who's the Sam linebacker in the 4-3? Okay? Well, there really is not a Sam linebacker in the 4-2-5. The Sam linebacker's the nickel. It's a 4-2-5.
This is a dumb question, Coach, but does that mean he's got to be a bigger nickel?
No. They may have 2 nickels. They may have a safety like Savage or Antonio Johnson. Playing in certain situations, early downs, and then they might have a corner in Jurian Jones or Grigory playing in a definite passing situation. But the Sam linebacker is when they go base. When they go base, they're kicking that front down, and on the strong side, the outside linebacker standing up. That was Muma today, and that was 56.
Yasir Abdullah.
Yep. And those are the kind of guys that are playing that Sam linebacker when it's a base front out there.
Yeah. And this is why, like, if you are in your office or at home, log on to YouTube, search 1010XL, because you can see Coach Campo diagramming. His hands are going 90 miles an hour.
That's that whiteboard work he's doing.
So you guys can see him positioning these guys on the field. But when I think of Yasir Abdullah, and I mentioned this to you last week, is that it looks like he can be kicked out in a wide 9, pass rush, or in that outside linebacker role. That's going to give him a chance to make the team.
Yeah,
because what they asked of him last year, he was not capable.
Yeah, because they wanted him to be a straight up rush in, and that's not going to work.
He's
not big enough. He wasn't big enough. Now he may have all the speed in the world, but if you put him in a situation, if you put him in packages where he is, where he's an outside 9 or 7, and he's coming around that corner, any tackles, it's going to be hard for him to block. Let me just say that.
Yeah.
Or it might be a situation where, according to the quarterback might change the protection to where he may have the back go to that side, so then he'll be matched up against backs on one-on-one situation, and he's got to win those battles.
All right, so let's keep it going there. We got some questions off the text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Ventrell Miller, how is he looking? A few of the other ones that we will definitely hit from you, but this one definitely takes me back in time when I read the text, and we were talking about Uncle Dave, and the texter says, "I'll never forget pulling into the parking lot at work on 9/11 and hearing Cowart and Lamb describe what was happening on the television as I parked. I sat there in the car and continued to listen, and that's how I heard the events of 9/11 unfold. I'll never forget that moment, said the texter, and trust me, I will never forget it. And I remember walking into the break room, seeing it, trying to actually understand what I was seeing. And then we turned into, and this is the beautiful thing about live and local radio, we turned into basically giving you information.
Informational.
Yeah. It was, ooh.
Joe, I was in Baltimore when it happened. I was in Baltimore when I was talking to some second graders.
Right.
And next thing I know, they say, hey, they stopped everything. And now I walk outside, I see just police cars. Just, it was crazy. It was so surreal. It didn't even seem real.
And by the way, you were much closer to it in Baltimore. With what happened was that Flight 93. In the Pentagon.
It was headed to the Pentagon.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. I tell you what, but that takes you back in time, that's for sure, especially coming out of Memorial Day. Thank you for that text. All right, so we'll keep going on the Jags. We do have one story that Leon said he was checking it out over the weekend. We need to bring that up. And one of our great supporters of the military, since we just brought up Memorial Day, Walk-Off Charities. Kathy Holber's one of the ladies behind the scenes, making sure that Walk-Off Charities with their auction is going to be one of the beautiful avenues to raise dollars for Walk-Off Charities. And so we now have foursomes with me, with Frank, with Hicken, with Prosser, with Ballou, with Mia. I think I've got everybody. And it's a battle to the finish line because Walk-Off Charities, we're going to have the golf event coming up in early June, and I am treating 3 people to the stadium course at TPC Sawgrass. You were out there just the other day. Is it looking good?
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, come on out.
And
so listen.
I was stoked because I got a handful of bids, and I'm at $1,100 to play the stadium course. All you guys got to do is call TPC Sawgrass and ask what that is, and you got a chance to bid on it, and it goes to charity. It goes to local charity, Walk-Off Charities. And so I'm at $1,100. Frank has now tied me. Now, this is a competition, and Frank's going to be taking another group out to Jack's Golf, but we're both at $1,100. So if we can keep raising dollars, all you guys got to do is go to walkoffcharities.com. You donated a box of cigars.
I did, the little Searcy. Initially it was the big Searcy, but they'll be coming out a little later on this summer. But, a box of 20 little Searcy's.
And they're in that beautiful presidential humidor. Yeah. So you can go to walkoffcharities.com, and you can check everything out there. But please bid. And if I can take 3 cool listeners out to TPC Sawgrass and raise dollars for Walk-Off Charities, that'll be awesome. Make sure you check it all out. It is XL Primetime.
Buckle up. You're in the First Coast Honda Dealer Studios with XL Primetime on 1010XL. Find your new Honda at your 8 local Honda dealers.
I think we're ready for a tournament.
We are so flipping good.
Attention Googans, come drive, drop, and dink with the drill Friday, June 14th.
That's our first tournament.
At the Fruit Cove Recreation Club. Cash prizes, free swag, beginner's clinic, and Jeff E.T. and I in an exhibition match?
It looks so easy.
Go to thefruitcove.com and click on the 1010 flyer. To sign up your men's, women's, or mixed team, that's thefruitcove.com.
We are so good at pickleball.
Sponsored by good friends at Injury Care Centers and Renewal by Anderson Windows and Doors.
At Honda, we appreciate all the comparisons to other vehicles. And no matter how many times they compare their vehicles to a Honda, only a Honda is a Honda. Remember, value, quality, safety, there is no substitute. Visit your local Honda dealer now and experience the difference.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialist is now offering ortho walk-in appointments. If you have an immediate need for orthopedic care, contact Southeast Orthopedic Specialist immediately. Avoid ERs and urgent care waiting rooms. For more information, go to se-ortho.com.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Visionaries, builders, and doers. Are you ready to change the world? Miller Electric is your opportunity to shape the future. Miller Electric is leading the charge in electric vehicle technology with our state-of-the-art EV Innovation Design Center. We're working to create a sustainable future. We're also the proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, powering their performance at the brand new Miller Electric Center. Miller Electric, we provide competitive pay, unbeatable benefits. Apply today. MillerCareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Let's fire up the flavor and ignite those appetites. Let's slow down and smell the barbecue. Because all your favorites are smoked for hours and ready for eating when you are. From our famous ribs to slow smoked pork. Enjoy some perfection by the plateful, safely in our dining room or in the comfort of your home. With curbside pickup, drive-through, and delivery. Sonny's Barbecue, local pitmasters since '68.
She posted about us just now.
Celebrities can't get enough of Beyonce's bespoke skincare line.
She has 147 million followers. How do we monetize?
She needs a social media associate to help her with the hype.
We should repost this. Do we need a hashtag?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On May 28, 2006, MLB legend Barry Bonds hits his 715th career home run, passing Babe Ruth. Barry Bonds currently holds the record, hitting 762.
Imagine waking up this time next week and being 100% debt-free from credit cards, car loans, and personal loans. Hey, Prosser here. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit can make it happen. Homeowners are turning their home equity into cash almost instantly. With Loan Pronto's AI-based system, you can get approval in about 10 minutes with almost no documentation, no appraisal, and no hassle. You can get hundreds of thousands of dollars out of your home. Use that money to pay off all your other loans. The average homeowner saves over $850 a month doing this. Listen, your home value's way up. You can use that to wipe out all those credit cards. Get some money for a home improvement. Literally hundreds of thousands are at your fingertips, and approval is just minutes away. So call now, 904-999-1508, 904-999-1508, or go to loanpronto.com. NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, equal housing lender.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Today's contestant, an avocado consultant from Jacksonville, Florida, meet Dave Ortega. Okay, Dave, here's your question. Your house is not bad in the morning, but by the afternoon, your AC can barely keep up, even with the curtains closed. What do you do?
Can I buy a valve?
Not that kind of show, Dave.
Can I spin the wheel?
Yeah, we don't even have a wheel, Dave.
Can I phone a friend? Oh, can I call Bueller?
That's right, Dave. Call Bueller Air and Plumbing to assess your home's airflow and sunlight patterns, and let us optimize your air conditioning so that you are cool.
This is the happiest day of my life.
Well, you gotta get out more, Dave.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Does the building you go to work in every day need a little love and attention? Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Great companies take great care of the buildings their staff and customers walk into every day. If the building you're in doesn't match the vision you have for your company, we can help. Go to performance-painting.com. Our highly trained team makes the difference. Quality coatings applied with pride.
Performance Painting! Hey, Hicken here for Zero Res. Like many of you, I love living in Jacksonville, where we have so many families who serve or have served in the military. I'm so grateful for their sacrifice to keep us safe. If you have a family member who is on active duty or is a veteran, now is the time to call Zero Res. Because right now you get a 25% military discount on everything they clean. I thank you for your service. That's 25% off carpet cleaning, tile and grout upholstery, or Oriental rugs. Zero Res, man, spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res. 1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
I got in an argument with this young lady,
who I was seeing at the time, and we're sharing this bank account, and there's like $1 million in the bank account. I said what I said. She said what she said. Took her family, we all got on first-class flights, went to Jamaica, stayed in this mansion, had servants and everything for a whole week. So I come back, I go in and check my bank account, and there's $400,000 in the bank account. And I was like, what the hell? I said, I know damn well I didn't spend $600,000 in Jamaica. I go and I asked the young lady, and she says to me, oh, well, when we got into our argument, you said you were going to leave me. So I opened up my own account and I put the money in my account. I said, what the hell did you just? That might be the craziest thing that ever happened to me, but don't get no worse than that.
It's Mocama Monday on XL Primetime. Head to the tap room at Fernandina Beach every day that ends with Y and enjoy some Mocama.
Well, that soundbite, I know you recognize the voice.
Yeah, truth hurts, though.
From the big fella.
I can laugh at it now, but it cut me to the white meat when it happened.
So
true story.
Tell everybody what they just heard. By the way, RJ, it is Tuesday, okay? He's suffering from that long holiday. He thinks today's Monday.
Who? Oh, RJ?
Yeah. All right. Tell everybody what they just heard.
Well, only reason why I brought it up is because over the weekend, I guess Netflix has reinstalled the 30 for 30s. I've been in 3 30 for 30s. I've been in the U, Catholic versus Convicts, and one called Broke. And this was a soundbite.
He's 3 times famous.
Yeah, I'm 3 times famous. So this was a soundbite that I did in like 2009. All right. First of all, I was much heavier. You see him in that picture? I'm like a
big
Stay
boy.
Puft marshmallow. But this was like 15 years ago, and I just told the story of what happened. Yeah, I was in a situation where I was with a young lady, and we were together, and we shared an account. And we got into an argument, and we went to a place anywhere. And I had just got my bonus from the Ravens. It was $1 million. And I went to Jamaica and come back and look at my account. Half the money's gone. And what she did is, before we went to Jamaica, she went and got opened her own account and said that you said that we were going to get a divorce. And I figured that in the divorce, I was going to get half anyway, so I might as well take it. So that's what happened. Listen, I'm telling you all this now, but you can get the book. The book is much better than the documentary. 4th down the damn alignment store.
Now, you said people started kind of hitting you up and that the book is
because
very revealing.
Yeah, because over the weekend, people will hit me up because I guess these are fresh new faces that have never seen the documentary. This documentary is like 15 years old.
Yeah.
Right? So people were running up on me and say, hey, Leon.
They're running it again.
Yeah, they're running it again. So people say, Leon, I saw you in the documentary. This now well broke. And I said, yeah. Oh, man, so that stuff was eye-opening, all that stuff that you were saying about what happened. I said, yeah, unfortunately, it was true. It was a lot more eye-opening for me than it probably was for you.
Yeah. Yeah, he was not exaggerating.
No, I was not. I was not exaggerating.
I'm really not laughing.
Yeah.
No, Coach.
I'm not laughing at
Coach.
you. I'm laughing at me. With you.
No, Coach, laugh at me because I at this point right now, I can laugh, but it was not funny back then.
Yeah, and because think about it, the reason they did the 30 for 30, and those that saw it know it, but broke means broke.
Yeah. Listen, here's the thing. When I look back at it now, and the documentary is called Broke, and when I look at athletes now who go through some of that kind of stuff, it's not the materialistic broke. It's the mentality of thinking broke. A lot of guys who are in the league, they're about, not all of them, but lavish this, lavish that, show off this, show off that, compete with this, compete with that. And you're showing off for people who could care less about you. You're buying this car, this house, dating this woman, jewelry, to show off for people who care less about you. When it's all said and done, if you're in this predicament, unfortunately, those same people that you're showing off, you'll never find them.
They leave you.
They leave you.
And it's what we've always described as the ones that are interested in you then. They know you got the wallet.
Yeah. Well, listen.
The bank account.
Well, I tell people now, I say, listen, you can't ride in a limo with me if you ain't riding the bus with me first.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. All right, Coach, before you get out, we got the quarterback whisperer coming in. Just a couple quick things that you think that you like what you saw today. Trevor to number 7 is not a new combination with the number because he was throwing it to Zay Jones all the time. But now it's Trevor to Brian Thomas. I know you had to like that.
Well, I did, and I like the way he was delivering the ball and all that. It's basically, there's no real rush on him. That's the deal. So, but overall, they look pretty efficient today on both sides of the ball. I thought the linebackers fit the run pretty good when they were running the football in that team drill. So I really think we're going to be a much more efficient football team and a much more physical football team. I think that bodes well. Yeah. We'll see when it's all said and done. That's a great thing about it. You still got to perform on game day, but I think we're headed in the right direction.
Yeah, and it does look like there's a lot of possibilities with the number of defensive linemen we're talking about, the number of offensive linemen. You got a total of 16 offensive linemen, and we'll be looking at these guys when the pads go on, when it's all for real, and just kind of get a feel for it. But the speed, the depth, the versatility, the idea that Ryan Nielsen comes in and can do some things on the defensive side to maybe impact the play more than Mike Caldwell did. I asked Andre Cisco after the practice today. I'm like, Dre, I said, you know what happened. We know what happened. What happened in terms of running out of gas after December 1? He said, well, it was injuries. It was just everything was not coming together the way it should. And so he's obviously hoping that it will this go around.
One thing I know about Ryan Nielsen, which I'm not 100% with knowing with Coach Caldwell, because Caldwell's a great gentleman and this and that, but I never got the real feeling that he was a great teacher. Nielsen is a great teacher from everything that I've heard from my buddy that coached with him, and that's the key. And when he came out and said, well, they weren't sure about alignment and all that, I think that was probably a little bit of an exaggeration, but he was talking about being in the right places at the right time, and I don't think they were there last year defensively, and I believe they'll be there this year.
Right. That's important. I want to get to the offensive side coming up when the quarterback whisperer comes in, because Press Taylor's not answering a question about play calling, but I think he is answering a question about play calling. So I think we definitely need to get into that in the 3 o'clock hour. All right, Coach, great stuff as always. We appreciate it. Dave Campo, you can check out Campo and Joe. We put our podcast together a little earlier. We'll make sure that gets out on all the social channels, and you can probably go back and find it Facebook Live as well. All right, so let's bring Denny Thompson in the 3 o'clock hour, and we mentioned that combination 16-7. So we'll get into that along with some other quarterback talk. That is all ahead on XL Primetime.
Cruising with XL Primetime in the First Coast Honda Dealer Studios on 1010XL.
I heard a story about you. I was wondering if it's true.
Everything you've heard about me is true.
He's not afraid to tell the truth. Rick Ballou as the Truth Teller. Evenings on 1010XL.
I'd give anything to be friends with him.
Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, Prime Men's Medical Center will get your sex life back in just one visit. Their painless, breakthrough medical treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Prime Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Prime Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments will restore your sex life regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. Plus, you'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients will have their testosterone checked free. Call 904-902-8222. 904-902-8222. To regain your sex life in just one visit, call now. 904-902-8222.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hey, poker players. The Poker Atlas Tour is coming to Best Bet St. Augustine June 6th to 16th. The Poker Atlas Tour features 7 events, including the $600 no-limit Hold'em title event with a $200,000 guaranteed prize pool, and Event 1 $300 no-limit Hold'em with a $100,000 guarantee. Satellites start May 26th. For more details, visit bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
This is Keith Catlin for Catlin Truck Accessories, and we are so blessed to be in business for over 100 years. Over 100 years of the best product and customer service means you can count on Catlin. From rolling lock bed covers to Lear toppers to cam locker toolboxes, Catlin Truck Accessories has you covered when it comes to your truck or van. We do those too. Got a fleet of vehicles? We can outfit them all.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
One name, one location, 100 years. You can count on Catlin.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes, and I've been telling you about Fenwick Home Services for a while now. Well, spring is here, and that to-do list isn't going away. But I'm not stressing, because when I need them, I know Fenwick Home Services is there 24/7 with cooling and plumbing solutions to fit my budget. Whether it's minor upgrades or major repairs, they get it done right the first time. So schedule your seasonal AC tune-up today and avoid costly breakdowns. Don't hope you won't have a problem. Plan to make sure you don't. Book now at FenwickHomeservices.com/radio. That's FenwickHomeservices.com/radio.
Hey Jacksonville, Lauren Brooks here from Helmets and Heels for Big Chief Tire. For over 60 years, Big Chief has been known for fair prices and quality service you can trust. Whether you drive an electric vehicle or a traditional car, they carry the best tire brands to keep you safe on the road. If you're ready to experience great service without breaking the bank, visit BigChiefTire.com or call 904-932-0950 to schedule an appointment at any of their 5 locations. 904-932-0950.
Staying active no matter what your age is key to living life at its fullest. And Rebound Rehabilitation wants you to know they can get you back up to speed and back in the game pain-free. Rebound Rehabilitation with 8 locations across the First Coast, top-of-the-line therapists ready to assist you. From neck and back pain, knee or foot pain, they can help. Excellent patient care combined with the highest quality in rehabilitation services. Look for a Rebound Rehab location near you and get back in the game. Log on, reboundrehab.com.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm Andrew Gibson for 1010XL. This update brought to you by your First Coast Honda dealers. According to ESPN, 2 women are suing kicker Brandon McManus and the Jaguars, alleging that McManus sexually assaulted them during the team's overseas flight to London last year. Jaguars head coach Doug Peterson was asked about the ESPN report this morning.
Obviously disappointing to hear the news that took place. Other than that, honestly, being that it's a legal matter at this time, can't really comment until more information is gathered. That's the first I've heard of it, yes.
Doug Peterson this morning. It's 91 degrees at 3 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farrah and Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the quarterback whisperer, Denny Thompson.
Okay, bring it in.
Brought to you by Tyson Sound and Security, security and automation experts, and George Moore Chevrolet.
1, 2, 3.
Does it matter to you who's calling plays?
No. I mean, ultimately, winning is all that matters to us. And however we get to that point, we're all for.
So, if you're listening, you're just tuning in, you hear the quarterback whispers in the house. You just heard Mia ask the question to the offensive coordinator, Press Taylor, does it matter who's calling plays? And he said, in the end, you just want to win. Let's make that our backdrop for Denny Thompson with our Jaguar conversation. Then we'll get into some other things. Denny, how you doing, man?
I'm fantastic.
Memorial Day, long weekend. Did you get to relax?
Yeah, man. We went down to Flagler Beach and stayed 3 days and had a great time.
Oh, yeah. So where did you hold up? One of the condos?
Yeah, we rented a house, and then Pops and my mom they've got a fifth wheel. And so they were just there in that campground. So it's
such a cool little strip of A1A.
Oh,
and
yeah,
you got
it is.
Golden Lion and Fins. And did you?
Yeah. We stayed right there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Beverly Beach, I think technically is where they were at. So great time.
Oh, yeah.
Fun time down there.
Yeah, the weather definitely treated us as well. It's hot as Hades, it seems like all of a sudden, but you get that cool ocean breeze. It'll get your mind right. That's for sure.
Perfect.
All right, so what did you think as far as what he said? And I want to set it up and then Leon jump in as far as just from the overall offense. But are we making too big of a deal out of who's calling the plays? Because I don't think we are. I think this is crucial for this football team to have a rhythm, a flow, a feel, and a confidence in their call sheet.
Yeah, I mean, I think on one hand we probably are making too big of a deal, but then on the other hand we're not. And there's what I mean by that is I don't understand how they don't know. Like that part, I don't. That's the part I'm like, how do you not know who's calling plays? Now, where you want to get is you want 16 to essentially be calling the plays, right? Is you want that Monday, Tuesday film recovery day. You want him, in the film and on the same page with the coaching staff of this is what we're trying to do. This is what I like as a quarterback. This is what I like against this defense, against this front. Here's the protections I feel comfortable with. And then you find a way to build that game plan around what 16 wants to have happen and what fits his eye. And so in that sense, I don't, if you're doing it the right way and everybody's on the same page, then the three of them should be just kind of a three-headed monster. Like they should all be thinking kind of the same way with what they want to accomplish. And I know when I say that, like everybody's like, well, you want to score. Well, yeah, I understand that. But there are certain plays that you're built to run, and then there's certain plays that your quarterback sees better than others, right? It's like to compare it to golf. Man, I get on a hard dogleg left, and I might as well just kick the ball down the fairway. For whatever reason, my eyes just don't work well with that. And so there's different coverages and plays and reads and progressions and things like that are very similar for quarterbacks.
Well, I mean, essentially, all the controversy is coming from the fact that we've seen Dougie Fresh call plays and have success with it. Because listen, when I was playing ball, we knew who the offensive coordinator was. The head coach had nothing to do with what he was doing. He would have the game plan. He would have everything scripted. He was going to make all the calls. But the fact that Doug, who's had success calling plays, is the reason why there's such an issue between him and Press Taylor on who should be calling the plays, because Doug has had success at it.
Yeah, I don't know that I believe. I'm not calling them liars, but I don't know that I believe that they don't know who's calling plays yet.
I think they are not saying it.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
And for whatever reason, I don't know if it's like they got different tendencies. I have no idea. I'm sure it gives them some type of analytical advantage, but I think they know. I think Trevor Lawrence knows how this thing's going to go, and I would assume that, they're early into install right now, but I would assume that as they're going through each install, they're having those conversations about the way Trevor likes to have it run and the way what formations he likes it out of and what's the situations he likes it out of. So, hopefully, I think what you hope for as a Jags fan is by the time they come to camp, because none of this stuff means anything right now. Yeah. By the time they come to camp, that they at least have a good flow to the way this is going to go.
Then I agree with everything you're saying. Then why the shenanigans?
I don't know.
Why won't they just come out and say, hey, listen, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're moving forward. I mean, just for the sake of Trevor. I mean, they might be presenting that to us, but behind closed doors.
But if I
know they pretty much know who's running the show.
I'd bet a significant amount of money that the three of them know what's actually going to happen. I don't think this is some great secret they're still trying to uncover themselves.
This is the part I wrestle with, and I might put all of Duval on the couch right now and just go, super shrink on you, is that I believe right now Doug Peterson is treating Press Taylor with kid gloves. I think he is trying to be delicate with the title that he's got. He doesn't want to strip the OC off of his business card or LinkedIn account. But I think Doug knows that he's got to get a different feel and flow to the offense. I think, and again, I'm just trying to read the tea leaves, Denny.
I just think Press Taylor got into the wrong business if he needs to be treated with kid gloves. I don't think that's.
I'm not disagreeing with you guys.
Yeah.
But why haven't we arrived there? I guess I don't. The only thing I'm thinking is they're not going to tell you until the offseason is over with. And it's
they may not tell you then.
Yeah,
they may not tell you. They may go from week to week, and they may tell you things that, well, one person's calling these plays, and the other person's calling these plays. Or I don't believe it. I believe Leon can speak much more to this. The game plan when you go in, and it's less about the plays being called and more about the execution and how good that week of practice and that game plan is against who you're playing against, and how well and quickly you can adjust to their adjustments. That's what it's execute. It doesn't matter who's calling the plays. If you don't execute, it's going to suck. It's that simple.
Yeah. I mean, it's all about ebb and flow. I mean, how rhythmic can this team be based upon the plays that are being called? And that's what it boils down to. Who provides the rhythm of the offense? Trevor is the the orchestrator, or whatever, you know, and this team has to make beautiful music together. That's what it's all about. It's like a crescendo.
Yeah, and I think that they wanted that symphony last year, and they didn't get it down the stretch. And I think what was driving Doug a little crazy is that it was driving you crazy, 3rd and 1 was not a guarantee. 3rd and 1 was not a run play. 3rd and 1 was just all sorts of nonsense. Fire up number 9, RJ, from Press Taylor, and let's play this one. Because I'm looking at Denny, and I'm knowing that a quarterback already has what Leon's describing, the rhythmic way you want to play offense. You feel this 1st and 10 leads to this 2nd and 6 call. This 3rd and 2 leads to we're moving the chain. You know, that type of stuff.
Because believe it or not, I mean, when it comes to coordinators, they're making calls. Tell me if I'm wrong, Denny. 2 and 3 plays down the road.
Oh yeah.
Well, and you can feel that rhythm too, right?
Yes.
Like in the game, like you break that huddle, you line up, you know what you're running, you know what you're about to run, and everything is just smooth sailing, and the defense is on its heels, and you can snap it any time. You can go tempo, you can go 4-minute. That's the thing they didn't have last year.
Okay, so here's Press, and we'll try and get to one from Doug in just a second. But Press is talking about how, and this is what you just mentioned, Denny, game planning. Not necessarily the play calling, but the game planning. How has game planning changed for Press this season versus last?
In terms of game planning, there was really no difference. Obviously we had Nick Holst was here as a pass game coordinator as opposed to Jim Bob Cooter, so there were some different ideas working our way through. But I thought, you kind of hit your stride as that thing gets going through the middle of the season. Everybody gets real comfortable in what the expectations are each day, each meeting, whether that's just coaches, players, whatever that is. And then in terms of play calling, it was really just, I was able to move around the call sheet a little bit of things that caught my eye a little quicker. But in terms of communication with coach and the other coaches on the headset, Trevor throughout the week, throughout the game, none of that changed necessarily.
So that was Press, and he just made me miss Jim Bob again even more. Jim Bob Cooter gone after 2022. And he was talking about Nick Holst coming in here this past year, who also now has moved on and is part of the Tennessee staff. But that part of it right there, I understand and I dig what he's saying, but they've got to take a big step forward this year, Denny, to where game plan produces points and the rhythmic offense that Leon's talking about is much more obvious right from the jump.
Yeah, that game plan, though, that extends, right? Like that at that point, your offensive line coach, your running back coach, your receiver coach, everybody has got to be on the exact same page because you have separate meetings. And I think, the biggest difference in college and the NFL, like what we've seen with our guys, is they're like, we practice so little in the NFL. Practices are so short and meetings are so long, and there's meeting after meeting after meeting.
It's true.
Like, that's the thing that I think as you're moving through this, if you're the Jags, and I'm going to give them a little bit of a pass because the injuries late last year, it would have been hard to get any game plan. But as you're moving through the process with this, it's the communication between 16, between Press Taylor, between
you can throw Mike
Dougie
McCoy
P.
in there and
But then even there, it's like that top-down approach of do the receiver coaches understand, and are they explaining it to the receivers and the offensive line coaches? Does everybody understand what Trevor Lawrence wants? When we call this specific play, how does he want us to run this, right? We got into a conversation Leon and I did a couple weeks ago about quarterbacks who set too deep and quarterbacks who – man, everybody's got to know where everybody's at all times, down to, hey, he's going to – on this play, this is a play action. He's going to set back at 11 yards. Man, I better get outside. Right there, I mean, that's the things when we talk about game plan, and it's not like they're just sitting there drawing up plays. There's a huge amount of communication and organization that goes into that week's planning that I don't feel like you can just change halfway through a season. I feel like you need to have that as a plan during install right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think the most frustrating thing about me, this team last year, is that this year I was hoping that they can assess some kind of culture within practice to what their identity is. You know what I'm saying? Because on 3rd and 1 and you're in shotgun and you're in 11 personnel, that can't happen. No. Or 4th and 2, I would just like to just give me some idea of how they're going to assess and build a culture of what this team has to be better than they were last year. That's the thing. Listen, your play call and all that stuff, that's fine or whatever. But the culture of the team and how being tough and physical down the stretch is more important to me than what you call it. Because you got to execute. And in the game of football, you've got to execute. You got to execute the play.
You're bringing up a whole other element to this, though. Well, honestly, that is. Well, getting beat up is still a
they got manhandled.
But that's on 3rd and 1. Like, your culture cannot be, we're going to have to trick somebody to get this first down. On 3rd and 1, your culture has to be, I know we're outnumbered in the box. They know we're outnumbered in the box, and we're still going to run the ball, whatever your favorite run play is. And you can't. We saw it with Florida Georgia last year when they put Etienne on, was it 4th and 1? That can't be your identity.
Nightmares.
That's not an identity. That's a fraud. And that's going to blow up on you more than it helps, or people would have been doing that throughout football forever.
Right. You can't cute it up on 3rd down. And as soon as Denny said it, I'm looking at Leon. I'm like, Leon, I know you've been in huddles where it's 3rd and 1, and you already knew the play call before Brunell or anybody called it.
What happens when they called a pass play?
Oh, we get the fussing on the sideline. Absolutely. Because when you're in those type of situations, if you don't put it in our hands and you're trying to throw a pass, then we get offended by that. If it's 3rd and short or 2nd or 4th and short, and you're trying to trick somebody or throw a pass, we're gonna give you an earful. Now we're gonna get an earful back, but we're making that statement be known. Listen. This is our territory. Let us handle it.
Exactly.
I love how we talk about 3rd and 1 like it's a dreadful situation. 3rd and 1 is what you want.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
That's part of your game plan. Is I just want to be 3rd and under 2.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I look at 3rd and 1 as it's automatic if you choose to run, and it gives you the option to forward.
Absolutely.
And whether it's tight end or whether it's go,
what frustrates me is that this team can't be in the bottom 5 in pass protected and in the bottom 5 of running. You can't. That's not culture. You've got to assess some kind of toughness in between your offensive defense and the defensive line just as well. This team down the stretch got manhandled about every team that they lost to.
I have a Leon question. So on 3rd and 1, if you're a team that has proven you can pick that up on the run, and then all of a sudden you're in the huddle and you hear, we're going to take a shot here. That's a different thing. Now you're like, okay. Now I'm excited about it.
Now if it's a play action to Jimmy down on press coverage, I'm for it.
And then you also know you can do that because if you miss it on 4th and 1,
you're going for it.
You can run and get it.
Exactly.
And honestly, that's the mindset. That's kind of we're all putting it together. You go back to the huddle on a 3rd and 1. You have everything you need to get a first down. Take a shot. Make it on 4th if you need to. Anything like that. And that's not the case. Now, this is the other thing. I don't want to play this long soundbite right now, Denny, but I'm just reading 2 headlines from the Press Taylor presser. We broke the offense down to the studs. Want to be more vertical, more explosive. And who wouldn't agree with want to be more vertical, more explosive? But when he says we broke the offense down to the studs, that sounds a little bit of a mini alarm to me. Like they are now looking at this whole playbook and going, are we what we want to be? Because if you go back to this last year, Denny, the Shanahans, I'm trying to think of the offenses that seem to really vibe at the end. Houston, Detroit, San Francisco, and it just looked like this one was kind of, stuck in neutral.
Well, I think if they're saying broke it down to the studs by meaning we figured out late in the season that we had receivers who weren't in the right place and we had an interior of an offensive line who wouldn't allow us to get vertical.
Okay. All right.
That's what it is. Right? That's
brutal honesty.
Yeah, that's all this thing is you've got the quarterback, you've got the running back, you hope you have the weapons. That's still to be determined on the outside. I think personnel-wise, you're really good. You can put some personnel packages in there that require some substitutions defensively, even on short yardage distance. But none of that matters if you can't block. If you can't block, it doesn't matter how vertical you want to get. Your quarterback's going to be horizontal.
It is the truth. There is never, ever, ever going to be another solution to not being able to block.
No.
There isn't. And I've maintained it not only does it mess up your offense, it messes up your defense too.
Absolutely.
Because you never, ever stay on the field long enough to give your defense a chance to just kind of rejuvenate themselves.
And, bro, and I've been on the sidelines and had those conversations with defensive linemen where we go in 3 and out, and they come on there, they're serious. Man, y'all got to get some first downs, bro. We need a break.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's heart-wrenching.
We're trying.
We're trying, bro. We're trying.
A little help, please.
Yes.
A little help. All right. So we'll come back. We got one more seg with our quarterback whisperer, Denny Thompson, and we'll at least play the one soundbite that Doug basically says this is such an important year for Trevor to have a bigger impact on the offense, a better performance level when it's all said and done. So let's hear that coming up. Beaver Chevy, Beaver Toyota, they bring you today's show. Don't forget BeaverChevrolet.com, Beaver Toyota StAugustine.com. Look online, see that great selection, and just know the people are there to wow you when it comes to sales and service. They definitely can take care of it all the way through. We'll keep it going with Denny Thompson on what Trevor can do this year, stepping it up.
You're riding in the First Coast Honda Dealer Studios. XL Primetime on 1010XL. More Jaguars, more Gators, more sports talk for Jacksonville. 1010XL. When you want more.
Maybe you've got plumbing problems, like toilets that won't flush, or there's not enough pressure, or you get clogs and stoppage too often.
Ew!
There's several potential causes, and some can't be detected easily. So before it becomes a disaster, call Roland Reich Plumbing. They can send a special video camera down through the lines, since they don't have a small little man, to find the root of the problem, which could be tree roots. Don't guess. Hire Roland Reich Plumbing at plumbingjacksonville.com.
Frank Frangie here for South State Bank. Look, I depend on South State for so many things: personal accounts, small business banking, and banking for our nonprofit. South State Bank can help you reach all your financial goals too, whether you're just starting out or focused on financial planning. South State offers convenience with their online and mobile banking. You should check out South State Bank, as they were recently recognized by Forbes as one of America's best banks. That's South State, banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
To get this thing unwrapped here. Duval!
Praz, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right, Dan. I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. John's County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Dailies Dash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, you know, like me. I'm sure there's a Dailies Dash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course.
Oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it!" and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there is a Dailies Dash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Dailies Dash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
Are you 18 years or older, just got married, just got divorced, or have children? Listen up. Have you done your last will and estate planning? If you have questions, call Matt Hinson with the Hinson Law Firm. Reach him at 527-1700. Office is Jacksonville, Florida. And don't let the state decide your fate.
Hi, it's Ben, second generation from Beards Diamonds. Guys, if you're popping the question soon, looking for an anniversary gift, before you buy anywhere, shop Beards. From a half carat to 10 carats, Beards will beat any competitor's price.
In the St. John's Town Center or at beardsdiamonds.com.
The All-Pro Roofing phone line protects you from boring radio.
Hello?
What are you doing here?
I don't know.
Listen for great phone interviews all day on the All-Pro Roofing phone line.
The calls have been pouring in.
On 1010XL.
Hey guys, this is David Garrard, and I want to tell you about Clearwater Irrigation. They put my new sprinkler system in my new home at Jack's Beach, and I couldn't be happier. Oh, hey, John.
What's up, Dave? You know what this means. You're going to have to sing.
Man, I can't sing.
Then you'll fit right in, buddy. Clearwater Irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers. Hit it, Dave.
And drainage, too.
ClearwaterJacks.com.
Coverage and analysis of the 2024 off-season workouts on 1010XL is brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter, plumbing, septic, and air conditioning, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
It's the coolest week to save during the summer fan sale at First Coast Lighting and Fans. Buy one fan, save 10%. Buy two, save 15%. Buy three or more and save 20% off all fans at First Coast Lighting and Fans. Showroom near the Avenues.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for Instant Keys locksmith service.
At Hidden Hills Golf Club, we simply love the game, and we think you'll love playing one of the most unique golf courses in North Florida. Rolling hills and striking elevation changes will test your game and keep you coming back for more. Check us out, hiddenhillsgc.com.
I'm sure many of you guys feel like you wish you could be as fit as you were in your 20s. The dad bod is really tough to shed. I'm Dr. Lance Snyder, and I did something about it through Dr. Rappaport at the Jax Aesthetic Center. I'm active, I played college sports, and I still work out a few times a week. Nothing worked. As a doctor and a dad, I want to be around as long as possible and feel good about my body. Dr. Rappaport put together a personalized treatment plan that worked. It was easy for me to make appointments, get to those appointments, and get back to work in time. I also recommend the Incella chair for any urinary issues or ED. Dr. Rappaport has state-of-the-art treatment options for men. And the M-Sculpt Neo is an abs blast. 20,000 crunches in 30 minutes. Give yourself your own gift this Father's Day at the Jax Aesthetic Center. Build muscle and lose fat. Call or text today, 904-808-2455. That's 904-808-2455. You won't be sorry.
If you're a business owner and want to learn about federal, state, or local government contracts, plan to attend a free online webinar May 28th. The Florida Apex Accelerator, in partnership with UNF, provides expert guidance and consultations at no cost. The Apex Accelerator program can make selling to the government less complicated. Attend a free coffee and contracting webinar May 28th. Register at unf.edu/SBDC. Then select Training and Event tab.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. This is XL Primetime. Brought to you by Florida Home AC. Now that's cool. On 1010XL.
You know, obviously disappointing to hear the news that took place. You know, other than that, honestly, being that it's a legal matter at this time, can't really comment until more information is gathered. That's the first I've heard of it, yes.
So that was Doug Peterson talking about the story. As we said yesterday, no lawsuits have to take a day off. They could be filed on Memorial Day. That's when the news broke that Brandon McManus has been named in a lawsuit along with the Jaguars, and the headlines look really bad because you see the word sexual assault, then you see sexual misconduct, then you try and read on. ABC was the one behind the reporting to begin with, but Doug Peterson was asked about it earlier today because some of the accusations included what happens on a flight, which the Jaguars obviously are in control of. So he didn't know a lot about it, wasn't going to give up any more than he just didn't know a lot about it. But, Leon, go back to your times on flights.
Yeah, I mean, because it's mandated that there's not supposed to be alcohol served on the plane. But that doesn't stop players from drinking alcohol on the plane because they bring alcohol on the plane. And how it's brought on the plane is simply empty bottles of Coke, Pepsi, or Sprite. All right? So the Coke and Pepsi bottles either contain Hennessy or Cavassier because it's brown. Mm-hmm. You pour it all in there, it looks brown. Whether you walk right by the coach or whatever, it looks like you're drinking Pepsi or Coke. All right? And then if you bring a Sprite bottle, all right, it's either vodka or Hennessy. And if a coach sees you with a glass, he thinks it's Sprite that you're drinking. So, I mean, that happens on planes. So it's hard for coaching staff to monitor guys. You know, they walk up and down the roads every now and then, but they just assess that if they see you with Coke or they see you with Sprite, that's what you're drinking. But 9 times out of 10, they're probably drinking alcohol, especially after a win. Yeah. So it's going to be hard to monitor that kind of stuff.
I mean, it's grown men. You shouldn't have to monitor it, right? Like this grown men. That's alarming, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a plane that by the time you've got the team and staff and everything else on, there's 100 people in that plane, right?
A bunch.
I mean, you've been on them, right, Joe?
Yeah,
I mean,
I've not been on their plane, but yeah, a bunch.
I mean, there's a ton of people. It's not like you know, there's one person and there's 8 seats open, right, Leon? It's big guys on a plane. It's not a whole lot of open space. I mean, I don't know. Hopefully this thing plays out, but I don't see where that's a lack of control by the coaching staff. These are grown men.
Mm-hmm. I would agree. Professionals.
They should be able to monitor themselves.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Professionals. All right, let's get back to the professional quarterback here in Duval. And the question was asked to Doug Peterson earlier today about helping Trevor by not changing the offense, which I think is interesting because he wants him to be as locked in and ready to go in year 4. Here's what he had to say on that subject.
Not changing a lot, schematically, and keep, repetition goes a long way, and utilizing that repetition to benefit, your football team, and that's where Trevor's really taken, I think, the next step, for us. Now it's got to translate on the field, right, and into wins and losses and touchdowns versus INTs and stuff like that. But that's where I've seen the biggest growth, I think, in the few years that we've been together.
What do you think?
I think it's huge. I think when you change an offense, it's such an undertaking, and it becomes the off-season workouts because a lot of times they're not at the stadium, right? The coaches can't be there. The off-season workouts between quarterbacks and receivers, it goes something along the lines of, hey, we're going to run this play. This is how I like it. And everybody's looking at each other like, okay, which one is that? And then undoubtedly they go back to what was called last year,
right.
Something that was similar. So I think just keeping the language the same, and so your quarterback can communicate through the offseason, through helping the rookies, through helping the acquisitions, get used to what the offense is at this time of year. I think that's a huge thing, and I think a lot of times people change an offense, like we said earlier, when they don't need to. They need to just work on the execution of the offense. Everybody's running the same stuff. You can call it whatever you want to call it, but 90% of it's the same stuff. It's not like somebody's got some extravagant blocking technique on inside zone. Everybody blocks it the same way. It's just who can leverage, who can get there,
who can win their mano-a-mano.
Right? Yeah, and from a quarterback's perspective, even on things like that, we talk about checks as in protections, as in pass plays. But, man, those run play checks are just as big because you've got to understand, like, what angle does my tackle need? What angle does my guard – are we in a situation where I'm being friendly to that?
Right.
Or am I putting them on an island by themselves somewhere that they're not going to succeed? So, I mean, I think keeping an offense the same, keeping the language the same, anytime you can do that should be done.
Yeah, I mean, in 2022, before everything that happened last year, I mean, this offense was on tilt. I mean, Trevor was the hottest quarterback in the NFL down the stretch.
Yep.
I mean, you're talking about a guy who's like 12-1.
12-1.
12-1, I mean, so I think Doug knows that, unfortunately, last year a lot happened. Offensive line was hurt. Trevor was hurt. Wide receivers were hurt. And Doug has seen this team at its best down the stretch in 2022. And he's like, we're not going to change anything. We just need the football guys to take care of us, and maybe we can get back to playing that kind of football that we were playing in 2022.
Well, it obviously seems like they believe that 6-game stretch in November, December, whatever it was the fluke. Not the games before where they were looking good, winning 8-3, the way they finished. They believe that was the fluke and that they don't need to change a lot. They've shown that through free agency, and they showed it through the draft. And so as a fan, you kind of have to trust that. Like, these guys want to win worse than you want them to win.
But it takes us back to that. Can you win your physical mano-a-mano battles? Can you win directly across the line of scrimmage, whatever your job responsibility is? And the other thing that gets me just a little bit, I love what Doug said, and I agree with it, okay? It's not like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. He's not saying that. He's saying I'm going to keep everything as is so Trevor can best know this playbook instead of scrapping it. But how do you marry that up with Press Taylor's comments? We're taking it down to the studs. They're trying to make sure. What are they doing, Denny?
Well, I think that's two. I know what you're saying. I think that's two completely different statements. I think you can run the offense that you want to run, but maybe in your self-evaluation,
is it making
taking
sure
it down to the studs is could be everything from the fundamentals that we taught at this time of year last year that didn't show up. Maybe we need to spend a little bit more on time on that. Maybe they had some tendencies that they needed to take down to studs and go, hey, we need to address these tendencies because people are on to what we're doing. I think you can look at that a million different ways, but I don't think I would automatically go to you're changing a whole lot. I think Maybe you're just changing the way you're teaching, installing, and even self-scouting what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah, I know what you're saying is correct, and I know that they are trying to make sure they have thought of everything. It's got to be coached cleaner. It's got to be performed better by the player.
No doubt.
All that stuff has to come together.
Have you been on a team, Leon, where the situation came up that y'all had such a strong tendency that the other team was calling out plays?
Yeah, with the Steelers. But we ran it anyway. You couldn't stop us.
Right.
I mean, we did. I mean, because everybody knew going into the game that, you know, we're going to run 75 to 80% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I would be across the way, and they would say, like, hey, watch that, because we had a play called a toss crack, all right? And then the linebacker would say.
Against the rules now.
Oh, yeah. Well, yes. Yeah, it was toss crack. And so a linebacker would say, hey, it's coming this way. Watch the toss. We're like, we don't care.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to run it anyway.
Yep.
Because our players are better than your players. And that's the philosophy we had.
And that's the goal, right? The goal as a team is to have such good research and such good film study that you do know based off of formation, personnel, motion, whatever it is, down and distance, you have a good idea of what they're going to run.
Mm-hmm.
And then, again, it gets us right back to you got to be tougher, you got to execute.
Yeah.
It's just that simple.
Yeah, you got to be to the point, well, here it is, that if I beat my guy, we win.
Yep.
If I beat my guy and you beat, we win, we all win.
That's right.
I mean, at some particular point, that's what was so frustrating about this team when like you said, you want to get yourself in 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 1 situations. And I don't care if they flood the box. So what? We're going to still run the ball. We're going to out-physic you and get the first down.
Yep.
That's the mentality that I want this team to have.
Oh, my gosh, yeah, and I hope they do get back to that. One of the other comments that Doug Peterson had was Ryan Nielsen believing that he's the right guy on the defensive side of the football to install that mindset. And then it goes back to Doug's responsibility. Doug knows that this thing – you had 2 identical 9-8 records that couldn't be further apart from 22 to 23.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
And so that's where you got to figure it out. All right, real quick before you go, Denny, I was telling Leon earlier that Maddie's off doing SEC spring meetings. They're in Destin.
Right, yeah.
So he's with Saturday Down South doing all that. Anyway, he and Brett McMurphy and a few of these other guys are tweeting out that Mike Elko's already calling Steve Sarkisian out. I just love that. And so Elko is now the new coach at A&M, now the Jimbo-less Aggies, as he walked out the door with however many millions he got. And Elko comes back, who was a very good defensive coordinator. At
a very good coach.
Yeah.
Period. Like, I love their quarterback.
Yeah.
He was in town 2 weeks ago, Connor Weigman.
Yeah.
Dude, man.
Did you say it Weigman?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I want to make sure I get that right.
I don't know if I've got it right.
Well, Matt and I go back and forth with Weigman. We have no idea.
Yeah. He's a baller, though.
Yeah, whenever you throw 3 vowels in, it's tough to figure out. I like that guy.
Yeah, I do too.
And he ended up getting injured at the end of last year, so you're saying pretty healthy. And
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about his health, but I can tell you when he was in town, he looked fantastic.
Mm-hmm. And Elko's basically calling – because Texas is coming into the Southeastern Conference, and A&M was elevated because they were at the flagship conference, and Texas was over there just kind of floundering in the Big 12 trying to figure themselves out. Finally, Sark brings some stability back, but Elko's already saying, hey, we're 2 hours apart. Why shouldn't we be playing every year?
I didn't realize they were that close.
Yeah.
Wow.
It is awesome. I will take that all day because that just kind of stokes the fires. Mm-hmm. And you want those rivalries that, well, they haven't been rivalries in the SEC, but they are now. All right, Denny, thanks, man. We appreciate it. Denny Thompson, at Denny_Thompson on social. You can check out 6 Points, everything he's got going on with his quarterbacks, that's for sure. It's XL Primetime. We're going to get back to at least a couple of things from OTAs today, and then maybe a couple of more of those talking points coming out of Destin, Florida.
The First Coast Honda Dealer Studios on 1010XL. You're in the pole position with 1010XL. Green flag.
Sunday at Worldwide Technology Raceway.
Brought to you by the Plumbers and Pipefitters Local Union 234. From the station with the most horsepower, 1010XL.
For Military Appreciation Month, Nimnik Chevrolet pauses to honor and express our deepest gratitude to the brave service members and their families who sacrificed so much for our country. Frank Frangie here. As a token of their appreciation, Nimnik Chevrolet is extending a special offer. $1,000 total cash allowance to all military personnel and their families on select new vehicles. So shop online at nimnikchevy.com or visit the dealership located on the corner of Park and Cassett. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Uh-oh. Oh, no. Honey!
money? Septic alert, septic alert. Time for a spring septic clean? Contact Duck Duck Rooter today. Just $5.25 to keep your septic alive. For just $525, Duck Duck Rooter will pump out your septic tank, clean your outlet filter, plus send a plumber to your home to provide drain cleaning to your main sewer line. Call now to book 904-862-6769. DuckDuckRooter.com. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. You know, pool design has come a long way, and if your pool is outdated, Stanley Pools specializes in bringing older pools up to date for the whole family to enjoy. That's why I did it a few years ago, and man, I love the way my pool looks now after we added travertine pavers and so much else. Stanley Pools has been serving our community since 1988, so call them today at 269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
Friday on The Frangie Show. Tune in for the House Call segment brought to you by Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Rehab. Join the discussion as a JOI expert tells you about total knee replacements. JOI, where the pros go.
Summer means fun in all forms. Longer days and more chances to soak up the sun and the fun. Budweiser and Bud Light reminding you to drink wiser. Hydrate between beers and don't sweat it. It's the best way to get home safely.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On May 28, 2006, MLB legend Barry Bonds hits his 715th career home run, passing Babe Ruth. Barry Bonds currently holds the record, hitting 762.
Andrew Gibson here, sports fans, and the next time you're driving by Kuhn Flowers on Beach Boulevard, why not stop in and smell the roses? Kuhn Flowers has totally changed the face of their store inside and out. Send someone you love a floral arrangement today from Kuhn Flowers.
How much space junk is orbiting the Earth? The answer coming up.
With hurricane season now here, the only weather you need to be concerned about is whether your homeowner's insurance policy will cover you in the event of storm damage. Ask about Southern Oak Insurance today.
Our family protecting yours, Southern Oak Insurance.
According to NASA, there's over 30,000 pieces of space junk larger than 10 centimeters orbiting the Earth.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Multi-unit hair grafting is now available at IHRS and can give you 3 times more hair in one procedure over a traditional hair transplant.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
You can grow your hair back with this exclusive new procedure. Call for a free evaluation. Call IHRS 904-777-IHRS 777-IHRS 777-4477.
Mia here. The NBA playoffs are heating up, and it's the perfect time to elevate your game with MyBookie. With MyBookie, you can bet from anywhere, anytime, so you never miss a shot to cash in on a play. You can even live stream and bet on the games right from the sportsbook, giving you everything you'll need to decide, cash out or let it ride. MyBookie really makes it easy to get paid with tons of boosted props and slam dunk parlays. And new boosts are now posted on the daily. It's more than just a sportsbook. Buzzer beaters, underdog upsets, and a community to share in all of the sweats. Give yourself a head start today and play with house money using promo code 1010XL when you make your first deposit. That's promo code 1010XL to claim a limited time bonus when you sign up and make your first deposit. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only with MyBookie.
Seasons change. Why not your tech? Upgrade now during the Dell Technologies Summer Sale event and save on select PCs like the XPS 16 powered by Intel Core processors. You'll be able to bring your most intensive projects to life with built-in AI, minimalistic design, immersive visuals, and cinematic audio. When you shop online at Dell.com/deals, you'll have access to exceptional tech and electronics plus free shipping on everything. Amazing prices await you for a limited time only at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
Hey, David here with Royal Pest Services. Men, are you struggling in the bedroom? Do spiders and roaches have you scared? Visit RoyalPestServices.com and let us help you get that man card back. Guaranteed results on our first visit.
Jags fans, the schedule's finally here, and you don't want to miss these matchups. Whether you want to become a season ticket member, catch 3 or more games with a bundle at the bank, or experience the season with Prowl Pass, there's a plan for every fan. Get locked in by going to jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. Experience Jaguars game day your way at the bank this fall.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. That just happened. Brought to you by Florida Home AC, the official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I guess in the off season, you're always thinking that if you can write a story, it'll kind of get legs and start the chatter. Well, you've got SEC spring meetings taking place in Destin. You just had ACC spring meetings a couple weeks ago up at Amelia Island where we were, and the Big 12 about to have theirs. So why not float a rumor that Utah is headed to the ACC? Now, the ACC, I've named it any coast conference, all coast conference, but Utah, they don't have a coast, Leon.
They don't.
I don't think they're eligible. So here is Brett McMurphy. A statement from Utah Athletics regarding rumors of Utah and the ACC. Quote, "We are proud to be entering into membership in the Big 12 Conference in the coming months and excited to join our new colleagues and member institutions. A report over the weekend that suggested otherwise is completely false." So we have to remind everybody, Utah is just now coming into the Big 12. And here someone floated the rumor about them maybe dancing with the Atlanta.
Maybe it was the ACC.
They might have put it out there.
Yeah, maybe it was the ACC. Because they had to be throwing a life preserver because they're trying to keep their conference together.
They are. You're 100% correct. Because we all watched as they played nice coming out of those meetings up there, and it's I wouldn't say it's anxious or contentious. It's just they don't know what the heck's going to happen. They really don't, especially if lawsuits were to go Florida State's way and Clemson's way, and then North Carolina joins in, and then all of a sudden, as we have talked about a bunch, it could get really flipping crazy with the ACC. But right now, they're holding it down, making a lot less than the other guys. I think we were doing the math with Matt the other day, in that over a 10-year period, you will lose in the neighborhood of 30 to 40 million annually to those other schools and conferences. That's no bueno for the ACC.
Yeah.
You cannot compete like that, especially when you're trying to come up with whatever the number is, $22 million to pay players. You need that extra cash in your coffers as well. All right, so let's just finish up real quick, Big Sirs, before we hand it off to the Frangie Show. Finishing talking about some of the things with the OTAs, and especially with what we heard from both Doug and press about Trevor. And like I said, I don't want to make it anything bigger than it is, but two things are pretty dang obvious to me. Let's make this the 10-10 take, RJ, if you don't mind, because these are the things that are obvious, but we don't know the answers just yet.
Now, Joe C's 10-10 take. Slow smoked and served up by Sonny's Barbecue. Local pitmasters since '68.
You may be getting off work soon. You may be punching out right now. But know this, if you want to head home and you want to head home with dinner already prepared, just drop by Sonny's. They got the curbside. They got the takeout. They got the dine-in. You can just hustle it up. A great meal. Always smoke slow and serve fast. Sonny's all over the First Coast. Make sure you check them out. So two things have to happen for this football team to get back to where they want to be, Leon. They've got to become more error-free when it comes to Trevor and turnovers. He's led the National Football League in fumbles and in turnovers the last 3 years from the quarterback position. So he has got to clean that up. And then, obviously, this offensive line has got to be better to help him clean that up. Those are the two main things for me, even though I do believe the defense has its problems. They got to fix the back end. We all know that the guys they've gone out and gotten to try and make it better. But if those two things don't happen, if they don't block up front and Trevor continues to make mistakes and cough up the football, then this team is still in trouble. That's the 10-10 take. And if
I
he
agree.
can handle his side of it, then this team's got a chance.
Well, listen, the whole team is it's about 16 and his development.
It is.
All right, and his success. All right. So as a coaching staff in the quarterback-driven league, you got to make sure that you put Trevor in the best possible position offensively, offensive line-wise, and the weapons-wise. If you can do that for Trevor Lawrence, I'm sure he's going to have a successful season. Now, there was this whole issue about Doug and Press Taylor. All right. Let me tell you one thing I know about locker rooms: they don't care about public perception. All right. They can look as dysfunctional as they want. In your eyes.
They don't care.
But behind closed doors, they already assessed who's going to be doing what, who's going to be doing this, all right? The fact that we don't know who's going to be making calls, they don't care. But behind closed doors, in those meeting rooms, in those corridors, they've got what they're going to do. And we're supposed to make an issue of it because we don't know who's going to be making the calls, but I'm sure they're comfortable with whatever the decision they're going to make. But you're absolutely right. When it comes to this team, this franchise is built around 16. You got to make sure he's protected well and he's got the weapons to help him have success.
Yeah, and I do feel strongly about what they have done in terms of adding back to the philosophy, taking this offensive down, as Press Taylor described it, to its studs, and making sure that they don't foul it up this time, that there's a chemistry, a cohesiveness, and an accountability that all these players need to have. It's one thing to coach it. It's another thing to run it on the field. Both of them have responsibility. This team has got to be coached better, and they've got to play cleaner football. When you take a look at the betting odds right now, San Francisco, easily one of the top betting favorites, Kansas City, Baltimore, Cincinnati, all the usual suspects. As a matter of fact, Cincinnati has been one of the ones that, as long as Joe Burrow's healthy, they're going to keep betting them up, even though they weren't with their superstar at the end of last year because of injury, and so they faded, and they didn't make it to the postseason, but they're still one of the betting favorites. Buffalo's up there. Detroit's now up there. Of course, you got the Eagles, the Cowboys. They'll battle for the NFC East. Now the Houston Texans are up there. Now Green Bay's up there because of what they were able to do. Jacksonville, as we have all said, end of 2022, this looked like one of the hottest offenses.
Exactly. I was just going to ask you, what were the betting odds for this team probably last year? Probably they had to be at least top 8, and now you're telling me they aren't even top 15 right now?
Exactly. And so that's where they're at. And so that's where they've got to clean things up and make themselves a little more productive, because the points per game went down, the points given up went up. That's the last thing you want to see.
But listen, they did it to themselves.
You're not wrong.
They did it to themselves. Yeah. I mean, but I totally agree with you, though. They've got to take accountability. The disparity between the last year's 9-8 team and the year before 9-8 team is just like, it's alarming to me, because this 9-8 team, that 98 team that in 2022, all the talk, all the conversation, all the Trevor and the MVP candidate, this offense is going to light up the scoreboard and all that kind of stuff, and then to see it, dismantle right before our eyes is just kind of heartbreaking.
Well, I'll give you on the MVP discussion. I'll give you this: Mahomes is the favorite. You shouldn't be shocked by that.
Not at all.
He's the only one that's really drawing some kind of like, you're not going to make a whole lot of money if you bet on him type of odds. He's plus 500. But then after that, Josh Allen, for all he does, he is a highlight reel. He really is so fun to watch. And so he's the second guy in terms of betting. C.J. Stroud is plus 1,000. He's a 10-1 choice right now to win the MVP, which we all hope, all of Duval hopes, that C.J. Stroud's got a come back to the pack type of season. He looked really, really good last year. But anyway, he's one of the betting favorites. He's right there with Joe Burrow, 10-1 choice. Then you got Jalen Hurts, you got Jordan Love, you got Lamar. They're all 14-1. Justin Herbert, 16-1. Dak's got the same numbers. Tua, 20-1. Trevor's nowhere to be found because he's got to clean up the turnovers, and obviously because of the way this team finished.
Yeah. Well,
I feel like there's no way to get away from that.
No.
The way they got to the finish line is what's hurting them more than anything else.
I agree. I totally. And listen, I don't want C.J. Stroud to come back to the pack. No, I want him to play well, because it's going to keep this team on their toes if they play well. And I want Anthony Richardson to play well. I want all that. I want the AFC South to be tough. because that's the only way this team is going to be able to answer that bell, is that if their competition, their level, those teams that we thought they were just going to run away with the last couple of years, I hope those teams play well, because we're going to see a lot about it's going to say a lot about this team having to go into those games and win those games.
I'll go along with you in the simple fact that this team needs to step up instead of praying for someone else to step back.
Exactly.
That I will 100% agree with you on, because it's the last thing you want to say, okay, let's get lucky. Let's see if we can, get back in a position where we're on top because of what they didn't do versus what this team did. When this team won the AFC South, Tennessee Titans lost 6 straight.
They did.
They lost 6 straight, and this team got on their roll, winning 5 of 6. And so I just those are the things that I'm hoping that I agree with your sentiment. I do like that fact that you're saying, you know what, we're not hoping someone comes back in this direction. All right. We are done. We got the Franchise Show coming up next. We appreciate everybody hanging out with us. Don't forget, if you missed some of the show, all you got to do is go to any of our social channels. You can download the entire show. Just go to 1010XL.com or go to YouTube.com. Search 1010XL. Thanks to Beaver Chevy, Beaver Toyota. You'll find great deals on both of their lots with great people. They are there to wow you. So shop SUVs, pickups, beautiful sedans, economy, whatever it might be. BeaverChevrolet.com, Beaver Toyota St. Augustine.com. Joe C., Big Searcy, we appreciate Denny Thompson and Coach Campo hanging out with us. RJ Saunders, take it away as we get ready for the Franchise Show.